Now, Linda, news group newspapers who own The Sun have settled out of court with Prince Harry over privacy claims. This is a significant victory for the Duke, isn't it?
Well, I think he would have rather had his day in court. I think that's what he
Mm.
ultimately wanted. I think the settlement shows that he had his victory because what it said was all those people from NGN did not want to take the oath, which meant that they didn't want to lie under oath. So that's a really big problem. But I think that there's a particular reason why people settle out of court, and you'd have to have a lawyer on to understand exactly the intricacies of that. But
Mm.
there is a reason why you settle out of court. He decided, all things considered, it was better to settle out of court. But he has been, charging forward with his banner for privacy and freedom and democracy for months now. And I would have thought that someone as wealthy as he is doesn't need the money. He'd rather stand up and give evidence and shine
Mm.
the brutal glare of publicity onto this one.
So that's interesting, isn't it? Do you think he was wise to wage this war against Fleet Street in the first place? Because I understand that the palace and his father, the king, were none too happy.
I don't think he cares about that. Um, I think that he's built a new life. He's gone over to Montecito. He's doing whatever he has to do to live the kind of life he wants to live. Remember when I read the book Spare, there's the heir and the spare. And
Mm.
his choice was be the spare or go to Montecito and build a new life. Now, as the cliche goes, only time will tell whether he succeeds at that one. But really, looking back at, of course, he's worried about the relationship with his father, but does he worry about upsetting his father over this? Does he worry about upsetting the firm over this? Does he worry about upsetting courtiers over this? I don't think he does, actually. I think he just wants to power ahead. But we'll see. We'll see how successful he can be.
So you don't think Prince Harry cares about upsetting his own father, King Charles?
I think he cares about upsetting his father on a personal level.
Mm.
But I don't think he cares about upsetting his father over this because he has his opinion and he believes his father has another opinion. And we
Mm.
all grow up in families where we've got different opinions and there's nothing really you can do about it. And that he made a decision when he left that he didn't care about upsetting the royal family. After that, all bets were off. I mean, he didn't care about almost whatever he said to Oprah Winfrey, to other broadcasters. I mean, he just simply didn't care. Neither does Meghan, because they're building a different type of life. I mean, it was really obvious. I used to think this when Meghan was first there in this country, and you had Meghan and Harry and Kate and William, and they were the fabulous four. But the problem is, what really interests the palace and the courtiers is the bloodline. So there's
Mm.
William and Kate, and every time they have a child, Meghan and Harry go further and further to the side because he's the spare. That's at the heart of this. That's the problem. That not it's not a problem anymore because in his way he solved it. But Meghan clearly couldn't be the kind of person she wanted to be within the confines of the royal family. Now she thought when she got married to Harry, actually they're both sons of Diana. They're both equally famous. In fact, Harry appeared to be a little bit more famous than William, a little bit
Yeah.
more well liked at the time. I'm going to marry one of Diana's sons. The establishment over here, i.e., Buckingham Palace, thinks Meghan's going to marry Prince Harry. That's nice. We can have a big old flash wedding in Windsor. But actually, he's the spare. And Meghan will have to come into the family's rota for public appearances. So she might be opening, I don't know, a supermarket in Scunthorpe, with all due respects to Scunthorpe. But it's not a path to her road to, I don't know, Secretary General of the UN or
Yeah.
making some big speech in Africa about women's rights. So she could see pretty quickly that the path forward for her was not a simple one.
Mm.
And she spoke to Harry. Harry knows he's the spare. I mean, the same problem has existed through the centuries. You only have to look at in recent history, Princess Margaret, but you go back hundreds of years and the same problem exists with the spare, just goes further and further to one side. It's the bloodline that counts.
It is indeed. Look, Harry and Meghan have attended events apart. Harry most recently inspected fire damage in LA without his wife. Is Harry becoming the spare in his own marriage?
I haven't heard it put that way before, Mark. I don't know about that. I mean, really, to look like a grown-up person in a mature relationship, you can't go to every single event hand in hand. So
Mm.
I think going to the fires is fine. What is not so fine is Meghan's advising or even asking households in Los Angeles to open their homes to people who've had everything destroyed. Because is she opening her home? Well, probably not.
Indeed, that's a classic woke virtue signaling position, isn't it? Do as I say, not as I act.
I think.
Um,
I think. Can I just say?
yeah,
I think
mm,
I watched the Polo documentary. That.
poor
Mm,
you.
yeah.
You really are long suffering, aren't you, Linda?
Well, I like some nice glamorous pictures from
I,
time to
I actually didn't do it. I was washing my hair, as you can hopefully see.
time. No, I like to look at some of these documentaries. I think what goes through their mind, or even through the mind of their comms director, when he thinks about what would be a good documentary to back up Meghan's projected position of flying the banner of women's rights, freedom, and democracy in developing
Mm,
countries. Well, it wouldn't occur to me to do a documentary about one of the world's most elite sports. That wouldn't occur to me.
no.
I'd do the documentary about her travelling through Africa or something. So she does the documentary. I watched it. It's very glamorous, actually. It's pleasant if you want to look at nice locations, glamorous locations, and nice clothes, etc. It's fine. And what I didn't expect to see, and this is fair play to them, was it was really interesting to find out about the world of polo. How much it costs. It's phenomenally expensive. Only the world's richest people can do it, or people who've got sponsors who are very, very wealthy. But the riders themselves, how hard they have to train, how hard they have to compete, how athletic they are, the polo ponies, how they're chosen. All that. It was interesting, but I think why do a glamorous film about the world's most elite sport when you're not when that's not your end game. It's a bit like doing that Martha Stewart type cookery program with a nice cake with raspberry and angelica strips on the top, when actually you want to be dealing with the World Food Program. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Now, you talked about Meghan Markle's ambitions, which are, I think, considerable,
Mm,
possibly in the world of politics. She
mm.
wants to make some money. She wants to remain famous. Of course, she's pretty close to some key Hollywood insiders as well, so she could return to acting. The world is her oyster. Does she still need Harry?
Well, yeah, people have been asking that question for a little while. Um, I think that Meghan is very ambitious. And I think
Mm,
to be fair to her, she did some things when she was younger that other young girls would not have done.
mm.
Writing letters to the CEO of corporate entities complaining about the way they characterised women. I mean, no one advised her to do that. She must have done that on her own because she was so young. So
Yeah.
she does want that kind of profile. And I believe she does want a position in politics. There would be nothing to stop her becoming the governor of California, for example. Why would that be an impossible dream? It
Wow.
wouldn't. It absolutely would not be
Do you
impossible for
think
her.
it's possible that Meghan Markle could ultimately become the governor of California?
I think that is possible. Why would that be impossible? Well,
Mm.
because she's an actress.
It's true. I
So
mean,
was Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan was a very successful governor
Yeah,
in the early 80s.
yeah. So, and I
Mm,
think that is where her ambitions lie. But
mm,
she's got an unexpectedly um, independent view of her of what I believe to be her political ambitions,
mm.
and she needs the right partner. Now, Harry doesn't have any political ambitions, so he is quite possibly the right partner because he's got
Mm.
all the credentials for doing it. Whether or not they're happy about it, I don't know. But I am told that she is the stronger one in the partnership. I think a lot of people agree with that view. In fact, someone did say to me, whose mother was quite close to the royal family, to Prince Philip, in fact, that they gave it, they didn't know which would come first, 7 years or 2 kids, before it split up. But obviously they've had the 2 children. I don't know where they are with wedding anniversaries, but they're still holding together.
Yeah.
So, it's very easy in life, I have discovered after many, many years on newspapers and on television, to make some assumptions which may not be correct. That marriage might be a lot stronger than we all think.
Fascinating stuff. My thanks to the brilliant journalist and broadcaster, Linda Jubilee. Linda, how can my viewers and listeners find out more about what you do?
They could go to my LinkedIn profile, or they could go to various social media platforms. I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive on X now, and I'd appreciate a few more followers.
Well, listen, I've got to say it's one of the great accounts to follow on X because you are, as I mentioned at the beginning, an extraordinary journalist. Linda, we'll catch up soon. Thank you so much for watching. Now, to see the Mark Dolan Show completely ad-free, a longer version of the programme, plus extra bonus content and live videos, and your chance to message me, then head to my Substack at markdolan.com.